ਸਹਿ ਸਿਆਣਪਾ ਲਖ ਹੋਏ ਤਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਨ ਚੱਲੇ ਨਾਲ। ਕਿਵ ਸਚਿਆਰਾ ਹੋਈਐ ਕਿਵ ਕੂੜੈ ਟੁੱਟੈ ਪਾਲ। ਹੁਕਮ ਰਜਾਈ ਚੱਲਣਾ ਨਾਨਕ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਨਾਲ।
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to lesson 10 of the Gurbani Study Volume 2 Japji Sahib course. We're going to be finishing up the first Bodhi today and going through the first line that we're covering, Seh Syanpa Lakhoe Ta Ikna Chale Naal. This is a very important line because it directly relates to something I've noticed a lot of college students and young adults, people in general that have been brought up in a Western education system seem to follow, which is very unhelpful in terms of getting close to the Guru. So here, Guru Nanak says that all of this immense knowledge and education that you gather will not help you in reaching God. Now, looking at that line just from a bird's eye view, don't get confused and think, oh, Guru Nanak is saying education is not important. That's not true at all. This line is not saying that don't get educated or that going to school is not good. That is not what this line is saying at all. This line indicates that simply getting academic or worldly education and knowledge is not sufficient to reach God. So of course we need to go to school to have an education, to get a good job and a career, of course, and that's all supported by Sikhi and Gurbani. But the idea that, hey, if I have 10 PhDs in philosophy from the best schools, from Harvard and Yale and Stanford, if I have these amazing degrees and all of these fellowships and all of these awards and all of these prestigious academic gifts, I, as a result, can reach God. That's not true, according to Sikhi, according to Guru Nanak in this line here. And kind of going off of this idea, there is a very big misconception right now, especially among those of us that are brought up in a Western education system, that you can apply secular ways of learning, of knowledge and reasoning, that academic way to Gurbani. The idea that, you know what, the way I've learned in my biology class or in my English class or my history class, those study methods, those way of approaching the material, I can apply that to Sikhi. And as a result, I got an A in my classes there. I'll get an A in Sikhi too. I will reach God. It doesn't work that way. You cannot apply your Western academic methods to Sikhi. It's not meant for that. Now, for example, I grew up here as well, born and raised in Los Angeles, and I went to undergrad here, grad school in here in LA as well. And something I heard all my professors say, and even my teachers in high school, was that, question everything. Don't accept anything at face value. Question every single thing, even things that your teachers say, that your textbooks say. Question everything. And I've seen a lot of my peers bring that same mindset of, hey, I'm going to question everything, even when it comes to Sikhi too. So as a result, when they're reading Bani or they're listening to Katha or they're learning anywhere, they question every small thing that Sikhi has to offer. And it's not really their fault. We've been trained that way. That's the Western style of learning. And we've grown up with that. But we have to leave those ideas at the door when it comes to Sikhi. Of course you can question. If you have a question about Sikhi, something that's blocking you from progressing spiritually, of course you should ask that question. But the idea that, hey, I need to keep questioning even when not necessary, just because that's the way I'm learning, and there's no real end goal in mind, it's just your style, it's just a way of creating some sort of argumentative discussion, that's not good questioning in Sikhi. Instead, the Eastern way of learning, the way Sikhi is oriented, the way our ancestors learned back in Punjab and the surrounding region, was in a Guru Shishya tradition, the Guru teacher tradition, where the Guru is your Guru. You accept them as all-knowing. And as a student, you accept what the Guru says. You do not talk back to the Guru. And of course, it's okay to ask questions when you're trying to get over a certain bump, something that's really bothering you, but you don't approach the situation by, hey, I'm going to question every small thing the Guru says. There are no records in Bani or in history of Guru Angad Dev Ji, the second Guru, greatly questioning Guru Nanak, where he questions him day and night and then he accepts him. No, he accepted the Guru first as a Guru and then he never questioned him. In fact, he did every single thing Guru Nanak said. When other people told Guru Angad Dev Ji, what are you doing? He's asking you to do things that don't make sense. Why are you listening to him? But he had so much faith in his Guru that he did those things anyway, and he became Guru after. He became enlightened. So I want you to be aware of that, where our biases are in terms of our Western education background. Sometimes is not helpful in our spiritual journey in Sikhi. So this line is very important, that, hey, we cannot use that academic knowledge, that worldly way of learning, and apply it to Sikhi. We need love and action to reach the Guru, not just academic or spiritual knowledge. Knowledge is not enough. We have to act on that. We have to develop love and faith in the Guru. So here we're going on a more spiritual journey, not an academic journey. Academic spiritual knowledge on its own is not sufficient to reach God, according to Guru Nanak Sahib. And then Guru Nanak poses a question, Kiv sachiara hoye, kiv kure tutte pal. He asks a question, okay, so, I don't know if any of you guys have been in group meetings, or those of you that work, in meetings at work where you're sitting in a boardroom or in a classroom and there's a problem that you're trying to address, and everyone is raising their hands and giving possible ideas, solutions. Hey, we can do this, we can do that. I've noticed in a lot of groups there's always one person that's sort of the no person that rejects all of the ideas. So someone says, hey, let's do this. Then this guy says, no, that's a bad idea because of this. Another person raises their hand, let's do it this way then. And the same guy says, you know what, that doesn't work either. He keeps saying no to everything. Then eventually everyone gets a little tired and says, you know what, okay, if you're going to say no to everything, what's your idea? What do you propose we do if you think all of our ideas don't work? This is a similar situation, because Guru Nanak has gone ahead and rejected several mainstream spiritual ideas at that time, such as fasting, such as keeping a vow of silence, such as using just spiritual academic knowledge. He's rejected all of these ideas. So as a result, the question is posed to him saying, okay, if all of these previous ideas don't work, what does work? So the question is posed, how can we break this wall of falsehood? So imagine that, you're in the center and this wall of falsehood is built around you and you can't get out of it. How do you break this wall down? What do you do to break a wall? And the answer is in the next line, Hukum Rajai Chalana Nanak Likhya Nal. So here, Guru Nanak says that if you want to break this wall, you have to change. You have to live your life in accordance to God's hukum. Hukum Rajai. The idea of raza, of staying in hukum. People often get a little confused on what hukum actually means. So hukum has two parts. So there's one part of hukum that's God's will. So for example, let's say there's an earthquake that happens, or someone is born or someone dies. People say, that's God's hukum. That's his will. It was his will that someone was brought into this world. It was his will that he had to leave this world. And we have to accept that. That's absolutely correct. That is a significant part of hukum, is just God's will. So whatever he does, we have to accept. But the other part of hukum that many people forget to talk about is the idea that hukum is also a set of values. So just like God had an order, because hukum literally means an order, you're ordering something, that God ordered that this person be born or this person die, the same way he orders us, he commands us to act in a certain way. So for example, a hukum for a Sikh, our hukum, is to live our life according to Gurbani, which means we fight for justice, we are honest, we do seva, we do kirtan, we keep rehet. We do all of these things that the Guru has said of us. That's his hukum to us. He's ordering that we do these things. So Guru Nanak is saying that if you live your life according to hukum, if you follow those values that are stated in Gurbani, you break this wall of falsehood. So just like if you're breaking a physical wall down, you need tools. You need, a hammer or some sort of machine. Hukum here is our tool to break this wall down. You follow hukam, now you can break the wall down. So diving into hukam for just a few more minutes, hukam literally is following your life in accordance to those values laid down by God. Finding out what he wants us to do. How does he want us to act? How does he want us to think and behave? So reading Gurbani, studying Gurbani, listening to Katha, doing Kirtan, we learn those values. What does the Guru want us to do? So you have to make those ideas part of your life if you want to live according to hukam. We all do as Sikhs. So if you find out, you know what, my Guru likes it when I treat people equally. But then in our day, we go ahead judging people by their race or religion or gender or anything else. As a result, we are not living our life according to hukam because we know what Guru's hukam is to treat people equally, but we do the opposite. You know, you can put that in for anything. Guru says we should do our nitnem every day, do our daily part. But despite knowing that that's our hukam, many of us don't do that. Guru says not to drink alcohol. Many of us do. Guru says to do seva, help others, but many of us don't. Well, when you don't do what the Guru says, we're not following hukam. And as a result, that wall of falsehood that the Guru says in the line before remains. That wall of falsehood is only destroyed when we follow hukam. So as a result, we have to modify ourselves to suit God's hukam, to God's value system, his rules. We have to change. The Guru does not change for us. So if we really want to break this wall of falsehood, we want to get closer to the Guru, we want to be one with the Guru, we are the ones that have to change and adapt ourselves to Gurbani, to hukam, not the other way around. There's no compromise here. There's no negotiation where you can talk to the Guru, say, you know what, I like these two things in your hukam. I like when you say do seva. I like when you say do kirtan. But you know what, I don't really like being honest, or, I don't really like keeping my hair, or I don't like going out and doing meditation. I don't like those things. So how about I do just a few of these things and not the other? It doesn't work that way. You have to accept God's full hukam that's in Gurbani. Everything the Guru asks us to do, we must do. There is no choosing here. And again, it's not as if God needs us. The Guru does not need us. We need the Guru. So if we really want to get closer to the Guru, we want to be one with him and break this wall of falsehood. Guru says in the line previously, the way to do that is to stay in hukam, to follow that command, follow his orders, act and think the way he wants us to act and think, not the way we think feels best for us at the moment. And then, of course, in the next body, Guru goes into more depth on what is hukam. So with that, we'll pick that up in the next lesson, discussing hukam in more detail. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.